Hey, this is Alex at Profitbl, and in this video, I'm going to cover the topic of objections. I meet an incredibly high number of salespeople who've never been trained on handling objections, and today I really want to talk about SDRs and the objections you meet in cold calling. They are always the same objections, give or take. You might have some specific objections related to the business our clients are in, but it's always the same stuff. Send me an email. I'm in a meeting. I'm about to step in a meeting. I'm not available. I have other priorities. I'm not interested. Is this a sales call? That's just on top of my head. There are plenty more that we have actually gathered and put on a platform to train on dealing with objections. Why is there even objections in the first place? The reason is, and we need to go back to a first principle, which is the people you're calling, they're buyers. Their job is to buy products and services that will get them closer to their objectives at their company. They have to buy things throughout the year to reach their objectives and enhance the business they're in, right? Their executives, their directors, head of VPs, SVPs, CMOs, CROs, whatever C levels that have purchasing power, right? So when you're calling them, it's their job to buy, but they can't be taking every call. They can't be buying everything. So they put a lot based off your professionalism and how you approach them. One of the things is that a lot of them either don't want to engage at all. And so the objection is really something to get off the call, right? Is that a sales call? I'm sorry, I don't take sales call. It's very hard to manage. They just want, after 5 seconds of you talking, they categorize you as a salesperson. We ask if it's a sales call just to get off the phone. It could be a brush off as well. They're trying to get rid of you because they're either not interested in what you have to talk about, or they need an email to get their head around the topic you're talking about before having a callback. So it can be either an objection or something legitimate. And the only way to tell is the tonality they use. Was it within 10 seconds when you could barely get a word in? That's a knee-jerk reaction to get rid of you. Or is it after 2 or 3 minutes of a good conversation where it feels like we're like on the fence, I might not have done a great job. They do want me to send some information. Let's do it. Let's call back and see what happens. You need to be able to tell the difference between the two because they're widely different outcomes, right? So that's another thing that could happen. What I see is that a lot of salespeople are not trained to handle objections. What's going to happen is you're going to lose a lot of commissions. People who can't handle objections are stuck between 5 and 10% conversion ratios, and people who are trained to handle objections are around 25 to 30% conversion ratios. So to say it's simpler, people who know how to deal with objections, they earn 2.5 to 3 times more money for the same amount of effort. They have the same number of conversations as you do. They have the same objections as you do, the same situations, yet they get more results because they know how to deal with these objections. And that's something you absolutely need to acquire as a skill, as a salesperson. You need to recognize what is an objection versus a complaint versus a legitimate question or limiting belief. Oh no, we don't have a bandwidth to install that software. Well, that's great news because that software doesn't need any implementation. It's a plug and play SaaS. Could be an answer. It's not really an objection, it's a false belief, right? I had one recently where he said, I imagine it takes a lot of work to set up that AI. It's 5 to 7 hours. It's all on us, not on you. After 2 weeks, you're set up and ready to go. So these false beliefs need to be dealt with during this call. If you don't, you're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of commission. You're going to just leave it on the table. So you need to be drilled on these objections and they need to come out naturally. They need to be a knee-jerk reaction on your side. Send me an email. Great. I'm happy to send you an email. Now, usually when people ask me to send them an email is that they're not entirely convinced by what I'm saying. Is that the case here, John? Or are you really interested to explore further and have a meeting next week on top of email I'm going to send you? You know, that can be a conversation, right? That can be an objection handling. There's actually 5 or 6 ways I can handle send me an email. Hey, John, happy to send you an email. I've got about 1,000 pages of product documentation. I can't possibly send you that. You mentioned that email is going to be for executive committee. If I may have one last question, what's going to be of interest to the executive committee that I could put in the email? What should I insist on in your opinion? That's another way to handle the objection, right? By getting more information, by re-engaging them. You need to be drilled. You need to have your ways. You have to have ways that you're comfortable with. But what's not okay is saying, oh, yeah, sure, I'll send you an email. What's your email? Okay, great. I just sent you an email. Bye, see you. No, that's not okay. You're not a salesperson. And AI will do that job for you. soon. You need to train yourself to handle these situations better than AI, which means being drilled on these things. Now, the good news is always the same situations, always the same objections. Once you found the best way to handle an objection, you're able to duplicate it and take it for the rest of your career and earn more at your next job, whatever that is, or selling the next thing or prospecting for the next thing. It never goes away. It's a skill that you have that you will be able to just use at will. If you like this video, please let me know, leave a like, maybe share it with your friends. In the next video, I'm going to be treating a very important topic as well. In the meantime, if you're interested to practice objection handling, we have a platform where we have recorded the best way to answer a lot of objections, and you get to actually train on the exact words to use to become very proficient at handling objections in B2B sales. So just check for the link below, click on it, you're going to register, it's free, and you'll train yourself every day with the team and get better at handling objections. See you there.